Have you ever been picked on by someone that is bigger than you? So I have. And when I was younger, in elementary school, there was a girl who tried to fight me every single day off the bus. Why to this day, I have no idea. This girl was much bigger than me. We were the same age, mind you. She may have been a couple months older than me, but we were the same age. But she was big and round and thick, thick hands, like thick. And I was skinny, like super skinny, like I was a stick. And so every day off the school bus, she would try to fight me. And so back then, all the kids would crowd around and follow you and cheer and, singing all those songs and chanting, they're going to fight, they're going to fight, they're going to fight. My grandmother, who would watch us after school, because we lived in an apartment building, so all the buildings were kind of facing each other, she would always be looking out the window. And especially since she knew this girl was always trying to fight me, she would be looking out the window. So as I'm walking to my grandmother's apartment, the girl be following me, basically talking to me, yelling at me, all this stuff. And so I would just keep walking. And my grandmother would be out the window yelling and saying some kind words. Okay, put it that way. Saying some words and telling me what to do to the girl. But I never wanted to fight her back. One, she was bigger than me, so I didn't want to get beat up because I knew I could not physically beat her. And two, like, there was no reason for me to fight you. Why are you trying to fight me every day off the school bus? For what reason? And so my grandmother would tell me every day, when she tries to fight you, get her off her feet and throw her into the prickle bushes. Because there were prickle bushes that lined the building. And there was a couple of big bushes right in front of my grandmother's apartment. And so her grandmother lived in that same building. So we went to the same building every single day. So as she would follow me off the bus, yelling at me, trying to hit me, I would wait until I got in front of the building. And this happened, I tell you, literally every single day. And why she wasn't hip to what I was about to do, I don't know. But every single day, she would do the same thing. And every single day, I would do the same thing. I would get her off her feet and get her into those bushes. And those prickle bushes hurt. And so once I would get her into the bushes, she'd be screaming and trying to get out the bushes. But because she was big, it would take her longer to get out. So by that time, my grandmother's buzzing me into the building. And I'm running to the door. My grandmother would let me in. And it just was a mess every single day. And to my mom got sick of it. And my mom said, we're walking over to her mother's apartment building because her mother also lived in the same neighborhood, but in a different building. We're walking over to her mother's building and I'm going to have a talk with her and we're going to keep it cool. And I'm like, okay. I mean, I don't know how old I was, probably 8, maybe 9, I don't know. I'm like, okay. So my mom walks over there and we sit down. My mom is explaining to her, like, this is ridiculous. I've said something to you before about this, and you were not doing anything about it. And now I'm here again. She's like, before I've come over here by myself, and now I'm here again with my child, and we're not going to put up with this. And the mom was very nonchalant. She was just like, well, there's something I can do about it. That's when my mom lost it. Okay, my mom completely lost it in there. And I was sitting there like, what in the world? Like she lost it. And thank God for Jesus. My mom is saved now. But at that point, she wasn't saved. And she lost it on that lady. And then no, I'm not gonna repeat everything she said, but she told her if her daughter got off that bus tomorrow and put hands on me, she's gonna be in front of her building tomorrow putting hands on her. She's like, so either you handle it, or I'm gonna handle it with you tomorrow. And I was just like, whoa. And so we left there. We came back home. And so my dad was sitting in the apartment in the chair. And he was like, well, how did it go? And so I'm just like looking at him like, no. So anyhow, my mom was telling him what happened. And it was a whole mess. But the next day, the girl did not hit me. She did not hit me. And I'm not saying she never said smart things to me after that, but she didn't hit me after that. And so fast forward to last year, my daughter had a girl in her class who was bullying her. And so my daughter started coming home like, this girl's being mean to me. And if I'm playing with other kids, she'll tell the other girls not to play with me. And I'm like, well, what do you mean she's telling other girls not to play with you? She'll be like, oh, yeah, don't play with her. Come play with me. And she's like, and she keeps doing it. And I don't know why. I haven't done anything to her. And these are 5 and 6 year olds, okay? And I'm like, well, why is she doing it? And my daughter said, I don't know. Like she, out of nowhere, she just started doing it. And the girl was taller than her, bigger than her. So, I reached out to the teacher, expressed my concerns, and I said it more than one time. Fast forward to they were in art class, and my daughter comes home and was like, the girl kicked her. She's like, we're sitting in class, and they were sitting across from each other in that particular class, and the girl kicked her under the table. And my daughter says she had like a little mark on her leg. So I'm like, she kicked you. I was like, what did the teacher say in that class? She's like, well, the teacher didn't know, and I didn't want to say anything because I didn't know what was going to happen. So I, like my mom, uh, I got on. Well, I actually didn't call. I emailed the teacher because we had spoken about this before, and I laid out a very nice, colorful email, and I said in no certain terms, this will not be happening again. So I don't know what the solution is, but if she comes home with a mark or a kick or anything else, it's going to be a problem. Okay, it's going to be a big problem. And so after that day, the girl did not hit her. Now she still said little smart things to her, but she didn't hit her. And the girl also is no longer in the school. But I wanted to give my daughter a voice. I wanted to obviously stand up for her, just like my mom stood up for me. But and those were different times then. Kids riding the bus and everybody standing outside, all that stuff. It's a completely different time. But I also wanted to give her a voice to let her know, just how my grandmother told me, get her off her feet, get into the prickle bushes, that no one has a right to put their hands on you. No one has a right to be mean to you. No one has a right to bully you. And it's fine. If she decides she does not like you, she can take herself over there. She does not have a right to tell other kids not to play with you. And so now I see my daughter building her confidence. I see her starting to slowly get a voice for herself, even when someone else was being mean in their little friend group. Because you know how these kids are, they're young. Someone else was being mean to her in her little friend group, and I saw her go over and confront her, like, "Why did you do that?" And I'm like, "Yes, like stand up for yourself." And sometimes it doesn't matter how big that giant is, how big that person is, or whatever it is, whatever it could be, an obstacle you're facing. It doesn't matter how big that person is. Sometimes it takes a little talking to, a little straightening out to let them know, or that situation know, that they don't have any power over you. They don't have any right to continue to interfere with your life, your peace, your happiness, or anything. And just like a person, a situation can be put in this place. And so, if you've ever been in a situation where someone was bigger than you, or someone tried to intimidate you, or make you feel bad about yourself or mistreat you or any of those things, know that you do have a voice. You do have a way to stand up for yourself, whether it's through a mother, whether it's through a grandmother, or whether you're standing up for your own kid. You have a voice and use it. Do not let anyone, even if they're bigger than you, make you feel powerless or make you feel that you don't have a right to have a voice, because you have a voice.